G'day everybody, welcome back to the Friday Front Bar here at the All Nations Hotel in magnificent Richmond. Thanks to the Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft. Sam Pang, Mickey Malloy back in town.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have to start by saying, I know it's a big week with lots to talk about, but we just have to tip your lid. Actually, you can actually do it.
To who?
Yeah, to Mick.
Can we raise it?
Your
yes.
Last week, your prediction.
Mickey Malloy.
Mickey, you looked down the barrel and you said that Richmond would beat Fremantle.
I think we've got it here. I'm backing this. Tigers will win. I know that sounds a little optimistic, but the Tigers will beat Freo in Freo tonight. Couldn't be more confident.
You've lost your mind.
I haven't. The Tigers are on a roll. They will take their foot off the gas and they will feel the wrath of the Tiger.
Well done.
Bang! That was a front bar prediction. Gold.
Is it true that you'd fallen asleep by the opening bounce and you didn't get to see it until the morning after when you IQ'd the game? Is that true or not?
Mate, that's classified.
Right.
I've got another prediction for this week.
What do you
and
got?
the Tigers, we cannot lose. This week, Tigers cannot lose, will not lose.
I just want to say it was a great
By the
win.
way, we have a bye.
It was a great win. But it wasn't all bad news for Fremantle. I know next day at the recovery session, they reported that there were no injuries and also that Alex Rance had found a 3-bedroom place on the water. And as you always know, Andy, it's all about location.
Location.
What is wrong with you?
Hey, let me ask you this. And this
What?
is a true. No, you'll enjoy this conversation.
okay.
We had it for the first
What,
time.
Andy?
We had this first time this week. Actually, had a serious grown-up conversation about Richmond being a premiership contender. Why shouldn't Richmond be thrown into the mix to win this year's
I
final?
know why.
Why?
Because they're Richmond.
One of the great careers has come to an end, unfortunately, prematurely.
When you saw it, did you take your cap off and throw it on the ground? Did you?
No, I didn't, but there was an amazing thing happened to the MCG. It was almost like, you can tell, and I reckon everybody at the MCG knew within, say, 30 seconds this is serious, and we all thought the same thing, and there was this kind of universal applause that ran out around the place, and it pretty much stayed until he exited the ground, which was actually a really nice moment.
There's no denying he's one of the two great players of the era. It's him and Gary Ablett.
Yeah,
they
true.
Talk about. And look, I know you guys were very down in the dumps.
It was very sad.
It was sad and a big moment for the Carlton Footy Club, and I've done a little something.
What?
I've put together a package of highlights of the great Chris Judd for you to enjoy.
Damn nice
Thanks,
of you, Mickey.
Have a look. Enjoy.
To Judd, going in his second here, you would like his chances. Chris Judd, slicking it brilliantly. Judd has that. Oh, what a goal! Chris Judd, the 2004 Brownlow Million.
And there it is.
Oh, yeah.
See,
I just feel that I wanted to do something special for you guys.
very ordinary.
Just to steal something you said to me earlier. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, when he got to Carlton, he said he wanted to fix up the culture, and he wanted, not fix up, but he wanted to create a culture that could linger longer, sort of beyond his years. Have you heard the story when he first got there? They had one of those all-day training days. They had the lunch up in the social club, the Bay Marie, and the big buffet thing set up. And Juddy went up, walked straight past the potato salad, and getting all the greens and high protein stuff, but left the potato salad behind. Gibbsy and Murph had piled the potato salad on their plate already. They saw the Juddy walk past it. They went back, scooped all the potato salad off and threw it back in the bowl. Juddy's not eating it, I'm not eating it. So
That's leadership.
I think that is leadership.
I always wanted to say, you just mentioned when Juddy arrived at Carlton.
Yeah.
You actually, sometimes you may forget what a big moment that was when he said he was leaving West Coast. And you know, he had a lot of, he could have picked any team he wanted, and he picked Carlton. And it was a big moment. And it actually just reminded me of the old days, Andy, when Carlton kind of just could recruit whoever they wanted, you know, back in the days of zoning. And I know it's probably half the problem, but one of the great things about Carlton on the old days was our zone, if you remember, was like Carlton.
Yep.
It was Bendigo.
Bendigo.
And then it was Western Australia and South Australia. and that was what we really liked.
As always, it was an intriguing press conference.
Yeah, it was,
He's an enigmatic man, isn't he? And he's always been quite inaccessible. But this is the moment for me, which I think we need to discuss.
It's often said that anyone who's born in Australia wins the ovarian lottery, but to be born into a family that's as loving, as kind as the one I got. I genuinely feel that I got first division of that lottery.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mum took a quick pick.
I think mine had a scratch. Mine had a scratchy.
Your mum took a scratchy.
Should have scratchy.
I don't know.
No,
He'll be
Mate.
some.
Mate, my family doesn't gamble.
We spoke to him this week on SEN, and he was telling us that he's never watched either of the grand finals back. He started watching the 06 Premiership back one day. The start of it made him feel anxious because he remembered how nervous he got before the game. And then he said, I got about 20 minutes into the first quarter and then I got bored. I just turned it off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting because he said this at the press conference.
I think we'll be a Carlton family, and I think I'll start watching the Carlton games, and if that gets a bit challenging, well, I'll have the right to switch off and do something else. So,
If that gets a bit challenging, a man who wouldn't watch a grand final victory, mate, he's going to watch Carlton. Well, good luck, Juddy. You've got this to look forward to.
Don't.
This is the type of stuff you're going to...
The wind got hold of that one. That's
Look at the gather. What are you doing?
By the way, I haven't edited this. This is a continuous passage of play.
Tommy Bell will tidy it up. We'll be right.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually prefer it when Adelaide have the ball. Juddy said his family's a Carlton family.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it on very good authority. He took the family down to training last night, just as a nice touch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The family now barracks for West Coast.
It was a bit moving when Juddy left the ground. We've all seen the incident enough now to know that pretty much by this, you can see the pain that he's in. Pretty much by this stage, everybody knew that he
Have
was
a
in
look at
trouble.
this. This
Yeah.
disrespectful. He should be off on the hovercraft. They should have brought the hovercraft on. They should have done a lap and then driven him straight to emergency. He should have been getting off at emergency at the hospital in the hovercraft.
I'm with you, except knowing Captain Carlton, he would have crashed it on the way to the hospital.
Would have put it in the Yarra.
He would have put it in the arrow. This is him leaving the rooms after the game, and can I just say, I think Beck's seen better days than that. By the way. That's what seven years at Carlton will do to a wag. And how hard is it to get a car that actually? That's a tough ask, isn't it? After you've done your knee to get into a sedan.
It was actually only a medial strain until that stage. Then he tried to get in. That was it, the full bunger after that. He was actually all right. He was going to play in 3 weeks' time until he tried to get into that car.
At half-time, David King had Andrew McKay, the footy manager, on the spot.
Yes.
To get the latest on Juddy's update. The problem when you're doing these interviews is when the question gets answered in the first question.
Oh, we've gone straight to the source, and Andrew, thanks very much for your time. Can you give us an update on what's happening with Chris Judd?
Yeah, we can, David. It's looking likely that he's done his ACL, which is devastating for him and us, but certainly we can't confirm as yet. He's gone straight to get a scan on it now, so we'll be able to give you an update probably by the end of the game.
And what's the early diagnosis you think the doctors are putting him on for?
Likely ACL, but we're praying that it's not, but it's more than likely that it is.
And you'll know by the end of the day?
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the game we'll know, so we'll be able to give you an update there.
Thanks very much for your time. Hope it goes well. Hope the news is not what we think it is.
Yeah, so do I, David. Absolutely. Thank you.
That'd be an ACL.
Another big round of footy, of course, the first weekend of the bye, so we've got a slightly reduced round. Kicks off on Friday night. That's a fair game, Port Adelaide and Geelong. No Ryder, no Trengove, so...
Both need the win.
Yeah, but gettable, Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Bombers under pressure. They're just starting
Bombers
to wobble.
under pressure.
Do they need a win?
Do they need a win? They need a goal.
Yeah, they need a goal.
They need a goal from
That would help.
somewhere. Heard he's starting to feel the pressure. He looks a bit rattled. Clearly, I think he needs another $1 million and a trip to France. Because that's obviously going to freshen him up a bit. Here he is at the press conference talking about the fans, and it's interesting to see how the fans respond.
Look, our supporters are extremely passionate, extremely loyal, and they've got every right to be disappointed the way we played tonight. We need them to stick by us, and I'm sure they will.
Yep, and it'll be the fans falling into line behind their coach.
How's hashtag standby Herd going right at this particular point in time?
I think that's a fan and also a board member as well. So that's it.
Other games, North taking on Sydney this week.
North will be happy to get out of Tassie.
You reckon they will
They'll
be?
be happy to get out of Tassie. Have a look at this breeze. I'm going to call it. That is a 35-goal breeze. And I've never seen one of those before. Have a look at this. And that's coming backwards.
It ended up 6 metres away from Brent Harvey, but it
That's
actually went
it.
about 25 metres.
Actually, that's like watching Carlton play in perfect conditions.
Speaking of weather, I mean, that was bad. But you've only got to turn back the clock, not that far to be honest, to realise that they're playing in pristine conditions these days.
Well, Andy, for some of the younger viewers, they wouldn't realise this, but the game used to be played in mud.
That is an actual
That is mud.
VFL game. It might have been the Lakeside Oval right there.
That is mud.
Occasionally have to deal with sprinklers. I mean, that was commonplace back in the old days.
This was a lightning strike at the start of last year.
Yeah, round one.
Sydney GWS. That game was delayed by 20 minutes or something.
This is there's the great Paul Pios. That was a game where it actually hailed, and Paul Pios, of course, remembered for shielding himself from the hail. What a career!
Yeah, that is true.
Mickey, I wanted to pat you on the back for another thing you did during the week too, and your support of motor neuron disease.
Spot on.
Last week, Mickey, talk us through it.
Hello, girls. Dinner's on. I was the only one who went down front first because that's how I get ejected from most bars.
So we were there doing...
It's a bit nippy. I will say this: it's a bit nippy. This is what I love about Melbourne, where the football community throws its weight behind something. There were 70,000 people there. Everyone gave their time. There was a sea of blue beanies, and all for a great man who we genuinely recognise and love.
What is your most prized possession, footy memorabilia wise?
Oh, gee, I stole a pair of... This is true. I stole a pair of Mark Lee's socks after a game, and I took them back to Frankston. And I still have them, and after a big win, they come out in the boudoir.
I wanted to point this out.
What have you got?
This is my most prized possession. This is a piece of memorabilia. It's a book signed by all the Danaher brothers.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And this came about because I was doing radio, and Terry Danaher was out publicising his book called The Danahers by Adam McNichol, and he signed this book. Then I took it to a lunch where Anthony Danaher was going to be a grand final lunch. He saw it and he signed it, and he said, "Give me this book. I'll take it away, and I'll get all the brothers to sign it." Right, and so that's why it's got Neil Danaher, Terry, Chris, and Anthony.
Wow.
Right. The only problem was I forgot to mention is when Terry Danaher came in with talking about the Danaher book. Right, I didn't have the actual book, so I was at the radio station. I just grabbed any book off the shelf. So I've got these 4 Danaher brothers that have signed this book. Right, and the name of the book, it's John Gilgood. it's John Gilgood. Mickey, what's the name of the book? What's the name of the book?
It's Shakespeare, hit or miss. And can I point out one more interesting factor? If you look over here in the top corner, it says $2.
Good one. Well done.
I tell you what, safe to say, only one of them in existence.
Well done to you, Mickey. Well done to everybody who chipped in and made the $2.2 million possible. That's it for another episode of the Friday Front Bay here from the All Nations Hotel. Thanks to our great mates at Brewery Fresh Carlton.